everybody. This is Emily Lau. Welcome to the Democratic Party's program, Chat DP with Emily Lau. Today, I'm very, very lucky and I'm very honored to have somebody from the French Consulate coming to talk to you about opportunities, education opportunities in France. And this is sitting next to me is Camélia AISSAT, Deputy Consul for Culture, Science and Education. Thank you very much, Camélia.
Thank you so much for having me, Emily.
Yeah, I think this is the first time that we have somebody from the Consulate Corps coming to our program, and really, really lucky to have you. And actually, because now we are in September, many students are going back to school, and actually today I heard on the news that the number of young people committing suicide has gone up, which is very sad. And recently, one of my mentees, because I have quite a number of mentees, and he just finished the Diploma of Education exam, and he won a scholarship to go to Oxford University in the UK to study computer science. And of course, he and his family, they're very, very happy because going there to study is very expensive. Yeah. And he's very happy to get the scholarship. And then talking to you people, I understand, I learned that, France is also giving out quite a number of scholarships. Yes. So maybe, Camélia, can you tell us what are the opportunities for young people in Hong Kong who can... I have another mentee who told me, when I told her about the interview, she said, yes, I applied and I failed. She's quite distressed. But anyway, what are the opportunities? Can you please tell our friends?
Thank you, Emily, for giving us the opportunity to discuss our scholarships, because I feel like, Hong Kong, because of the history, is really turned towards English-speaking countries. Of course, the United Kingdom, but also the United States and Australia. And for us, it's really important to be able to also share about the great opportunities that Hong Kong students can have studying in France. And Hong Kong, but also Macanese, because we also cover Macau at the French Consulate here. So we have quite a few numbers of scholarships. So I won't give you too many details because it would be, I think, boring, but I will try to be...
Yeah, you tell us how many.
Comprehensive.
Yeah.
So we have now about eight scholarships that we could share with the students in Hong Kong. And I will try to divide them into two categories. Yeah. One category would be short-term programs, and the other category would be more time. So short would be for example, we'd have 3-4 weeks in France, and then we would have 3-4 months. That's considered short. And then you can go to France for a year or two and get a scholarship for a year or two. Yeah. So basically, for the short-term programs, we have one scholarship that is called French plus Sciences, and one other that is called French plus Gastronomy. And both programs, you can go to France for 3-4 weeks, study French in the morning. And what's interesting about this scholarship is that you can actually also study another topic that is of interest to you. So for science, for example, you can go study sustainable development. You can go study nanotechnologies, like sea, ocean science, stuff like that. And so, for example, in the afternoon, you would get visits of laboratories, like state-of-the-art laboratories, cutting-edge, laboratories. So a lot of interesting topics to discuss, and you have access to scientists as well. So it's not only French; it's also a topic. And for the gastronomy one as well, you go and have a look at the industry, at the hotels, of course, good restaurants, and you talk to chefs, So. Yeah. So that's a short program, but
do they have to be able to speak French?
No, they don't have to. Of course, they can, even if they don't speak French at all, they can join the program. And then if they speak a little bit of French, they would be, put in some groups that are their level. So this scholarship is interesting because we cover the trip, so the flights to go to France, and we cover the tuition fees, and also they get access to a very cheap accommodation that is taken care of. So. Yeah, it's pretty much a free 3-4 weeks
free holiday.
No, because they actually have to
study.
Work.
But they don't have to take exam.
No. Yeah.
But how many such scholarships?
So for our consulate this year, we provided 3 scholarships for French post sciences, and we provided 2 for French post gastronomy. And out of these 5 laureates that we had about I'd say 30. It's a new program actually. We launched it. The science one we launched it 2 years ago, and the gastronomy one we launched it last year. So
is it very popular?
And we actually got around 30, 40 applications. So,
so many are disappointed.
But I guess and then we're trying to prioritize the younger ones. So for example, everyone can apply, but we would rather give it to first, second, third years,
those
so that they get to know France a bit and see whether they want to go afterwards for a master's degree, for example.
I see.
So
what about those scholarships which have degrees? Because they really want to go and get a bachelor degree or master degree. Are those scholarships available?
Yes. So we have the longer term ones. We have one particular one that we've implemented about 20 years ago.
Wow.
Actually, it's even more than 20 years ago. It's 20 years ago since it's called the France Excellence AISSAT Scholarship, but it's been around at the consulate for I'd say 30, 40 years, because we have a lot of alumni actually who are, for example, we have former university presidents in Hong Kong, the director of the Hong Kong Arts Festival, who is an alumni as well, who got the scholarship. So it's been around for a few decades. And this one, the France Excellence AISSAT Scholarship, gives you 2 years of master's degree paid. So you have around a little bit less than, let's say, 900 euros. It would be 10,000 HKD a month. So that would cover your accommodation,
the tuition.
So the tuition fees, if you go to university, it's actually very cheap.
I see.
So it's not, you don't get to pay the tuition fees for universities, but you get to pay them if you go to private institutions.
I see.
So and after that we also give them the free flight ticket to go to France. So it's a good.
How many such scholarships have you got?
So it depends every year according to our budget, but for the last 5 years, I'd say it was around 8 to 11. And since I arrived in Hong Kong, we've been able to give 11 scholarships per year.
And how many apply?
Yeah, that's the downside.
Competitive.
It's a very competitive one. Of course, it's called France Excellence, so it's for top students. And there are many great excellent students in Hong Kong. So, but we have around 50, 60 applications per year. So if you count the numbers of laureates, it's not a great number of success. But when you do get it, then you're part of the big family. So.
Again, no need to be able to speak French.
So it depends on the degree you're choosing, actually, because in France we have around. Of course, it's been it's been recent that we've had programs taught in English completely. But then, according to your degree, if you go to, we have 1,700 programs taught in English. So if you choose one in English, you don't have to speak French, but we would encourage the students to study a bit of French, to get around, and also because it's a great opportunity for your career afterwards to speak French, because you get access to many francophone French-speaking countries around the world. So it's a great opportunity. And then some universities, if you choose some degrees, you have to speak French, and they will ask for B2 level. I don't know if you would understand what B2 level is, but it's
I don't know what is B2 level.
What would it be? It's I'd say it's you need to have basic conversation. You have to be able to follow the classes in French. So but then it depends. And so, for example, this year out of 11, I think only 4 chose the French program, the program in French. The others, they all had the programs taught in English.
I see. Why don't you work with some French companies so that they can put in more money and you can have more scholarships, since there's so many students who want to go? We
can actually. We're working on that. We're working with companies to see if we can add more scholarships. But for now, we have, for example, the linguistics. I haven't talked about it before, but we have the linguistics scholarship and the HKU Pasteur scholarship. So both scholarships are different. The first one is you go to France for 1 month and you study French, you immerse yourself intensely to learn French. And the other one, you go to a laboratory at Institut Pasteur in Paris, and you do research, scientific research for 3 to 4 months. But both these scholarships are co-financed by the Consulate General and by the Hong Kong chapter of the Légion d'honneur. So we do have some like co-sponsored scholarships. And yeah, of course, if like companies are interested in sponsoring more scholarships, we could definitely work with them on that.
Is it that well known? Do you know that many young people in Hong Kong know about your scholarships and they know how to apply? And
so I think from the figures that we have, of course, we have a lot of applicants. So obviously, we work through the universities. We have great contacts with the universities, so they, spread the word, and then we have people who know that these scholarships exist. But I think this is something that's quite difficult for us because, as I said before, English-speaking countries, they don't really have to, promote that much compared to us, because people know about the opportunities, they know that they can get scholarships as well, but they don't know about France really. And what we do is we go to schools, secondary schools, we go to universities, represent, what it's like to be a student in France, and we tell them about the scholarships. And we also take part of the annual education fair in January, February at the HKTDC. And that's a good way as well to, show people that they have many opportunities. And it's not only about the scholarships, it's also about how great it is to be a student in France, because you get so many, you get discounts on train tickets, you get discounts like free access to museums, you get free social security, all your health expenses are covered.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, they're like French, citizens, they get the same rights. So, I don't think they know enough about the great opportunities.
I don't think this type of things apply in other countries.
Yeah.
If they go there, they don't, they are just a foreign student. Yeah. So that's very good. So anyway, hope that by this, with this interview, we can tell the Hong Kong more of the, but then if you have such a small number of scholarships, so if many people apply, but then I guess if many apply, then you can go back to tell Paris. You say, hey, the Hong Kong people are very keen.
Yeah. That helps to get more extra funds. But then again, of course, it's great to have a scholarship. You get some funds, you get the flight ticket, but also, if you don't have the scholarship, you can still study in France in a very affordable way because
it's not that expensive.
Because it's not that expensive. So let's say, for example,
but you have the foreign student school fees and local student fees.
So that's very recent, because before it was the same for everyone, and that was implemented a few years ago. And
is it
even
a big difference?
No. Even though it's not big, if you do your master's degree in France, you'll pay like less than 3,000 euros.
Yeah.
So
a year.
Yeah. So if you compare this to other
very
countries,
expensive in the UK.
Yeah. And you get like really quality education as well. So if you go to Sciences Po, for example, it's it's one of the top universities in the world.
Some of my mentees have gone there too, and also your president.
Yes, a lot of political.
Are you from there too?
So I studied at Sciences Po Strasbourg. I did my master's there. But I wasn't a full-on registered student at Sciences Po. I actually studied in Australia and England myself, so I can actually tell the differences and how great it is to study in France.
Oh, I see. No wonder your English is so good. Hey, what about working holiday? Because I hear many Hong Kong young people, they go abroad.
Yeah.
And in France, do you have that program too?
Yes, we have the agreement with the Hong Kong government. So I don't think it's in this one.
Here. But anyway, you can tell us what is.
We do have the agreement with the Hong Kong government, and if you're between 18 and what's the age again? I forgot. I think it's 27. You get to go to France, do your work with a work holiday visa. And that means that you can work and at the same time, be part-time worker there. And we actually have a lot of success stories of Hong Kongers being in France.
Is there a limit on the number of work visa you give out each year?
So I'm not in charge of this because it's already, I think the quotas are settled. There is a limit, but the quotas are settled by the ministries in Paris and the government here. And I don't see them because I don't have to validate the applications compared to when they want to study in France. So I'm not sure about the exact quota, but there is, I mean, I think we've sent only like a few, like let's say 2-3 students, working holiday students a year. So it's not that many.
So few?
Yeah, it's not that many.
Again, I guess they don't know about it. Huh?
Yeah, probably.
And also they think they can't speak French, so they dare not go.
Yeah, I guess sometimes, they kind of need to speak a little bit of French. Because if they work with people in France,
if you work, I mean, if you don't speak, that's why they go to Australia. Now, some of them even go to Japan, but they love Japan. That's why. Yeah. So anyway, so what are the other opportunities that our young people, exchange students? You have that too, isn't it?
We do. Yeah, we have around a bit less than 200 agreements with universities in Hong Kong and Macau. So we have agreements with public-funded universities, but also with private universities here.
Yeah.
And that allows around, so actually the figures have dropped significantly after 2015 and then COVID. But before 2015, we sent around like over 500 Hong Kong students to France.
Yeah.
And now we're reaching again this figure. We're about, I mean, last year we were at 420. And this year, I'm hoping would be 450 students going to France.
Going to France. How many coming here?
It's around the same. It's around 300. Oh, really? Yeah, because it's supposed to be reciprocal.
Yeah.
But then again, sometimes it's not as reciprocal, which can be a problem for the institutions.
Yeah.
And also, I feel like, with COVID and the recent years in Hong Kong, a lot of French people decided not to come to Hong Kong. So I think the figures dropped, but they're coming back now that, there's less measures.
You talk about people not wanting to come. Some countries have issued travel advisories against coming here, but France doesn't have that.
No, of course not.
You don't have that, huh? So, but why don't they want to come here then?
I mean, we still have a lot of. I know one of them that I know as well, Theo, who's
Theo. He's now in Paris. Hi, Theo. And then
we have him in common.
I introduced him to some of my mentees, and they're so happy. Theo said, "If you come to Paris, you have somewhere to live."
Yeah, I mean, he's such a lovely person. So
he's very nice.
So of course, like him, for example, he
was an exchange student.
Yeah. I think he was part of the actually a double degree program with University. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong when you see this. But so we do have a lot still coming. It's just that the figures dropped, and after the COVID period, a lot of students and the parents were kind of scared to come to Hong Kong. But now, I mean, I think the figures are going up again.
Yeah. Well, apart from the studying, I look at some figures that I saw online recently about the number of the countries which attracts the most tourists in the world. It's almost always, every year, it's France. Yes. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, this year, of course, we can understand because of the Olympics, huh? But for so many years, and they give you the figures all throughout.
Yeah.
So it's marvelous, isn't it?
Yeah. I'm really proud to say it's true, actually.
But are there many Hong Kong people going to France as tourists?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. So I think for 2023, we had over like 100 million tourists, which is a lot. And I guess I understand why, because, France has a very diversified and comprehensive offer when it comes to tourism. So you get, you want nature, you want cities, culture, history, monuments.
Well, Italy, Germany, they all have the same.
I mean, true. But then France has this particularity to have very, very different regions as well and traditions. So, of course, Italy does as well. But I feel like France has this, this way of life that attracts a lot of people. And for Hong Kong people, I feel like maybe they, actually, I don't think you can compare Italy's culture and history with us.
Why?
Because ours is grandiose.
I don't want to offend the Italians and the Germans. They are our good friends. And so...
No, actually, that's a good opportunity also for people when they go to France. They can go to
Italy,
Germany, to Belgium,
Yeah.
England, Spain very easily. So it's also a great opportunity to travel around when you go to France. So
Yes, but as I said, I did not. I knew previously some figures I saw with Spain, because Spain is very attractive
Yeah.
as a tourist destination. But I did not know France was number one for so long. But you have, I guess you know, there are many Hong Kong tourists going to France.
Yes.
Is it of all the European countries? Is it the one that has attracted the most from Hong Kong?
I think so, definitely. And also you can see it with, of course, like Hong Kong people don't need a visa for short-term periods to go to France under 3 months. But still, you know, we have a big visa department compared to the other European Union member states. So I feel like it's also, you know, it gives an idea of the figures of how many people we send to France more than to other countries. So we do have a lot of Hong Kongers going to France for short terms or for longer term periods.
I talked to someone else from another European consulate recently, and the person said, "Oh, of course, they are so rich. They have so much money." I guess your consulate is also much bigger than other people's consulates
yes,
too.
we have a bigger consulate, and we do a lot of a lot of events. I told you before about the French Shine Festival, so we're working a lot on. I mean, of course, all the other consulates try their best, but we have a bigger consulate.
They are jealous.
We do a lot of things.
Yeah. And actually, can you tell us what are some of the events coming up, cultural events or other things that...
Yeah, so in the short term, in the next 3 weeks, we're actually organizing the French Science Festival, which is a festival that we're organizing every year since 2020 in Hong Kong. But it's actually a festival that's been implemented in France over 30 years. It's about, like, you know, making science easy for people, you know, like, so for example, this year it's going to be, last year it was on sport and science, obviously, because it was linked to the Olympic and Paralympic Games. But this year is going to be on oceans, because we're hosting the UN conference on oceans in June next year in Nice. So our government wanted us to, you know, spread the word about ocean protection and all the problematics and issues that are related to oceans. And so we're going to have a lot of events going on in October for 2 weeks, conferences, exhibitions, research activities. We're working with HKU and HKUST, so we'll have access to laboratory research, and it's going to be fun as well because we'll have some VR, some film screening. So I really encourage people to join this event.
Yes.
Because, you know, it's science, but it's also a way to make it fun, you know, and accessible. And one of the next events, I think, that's of interest to people is the French Film Festival. So it's around November, December, and it's a great opportunity for Hong Kong people to, you know, catch up on classic movies, but also on very, like, new recent movies, because that's the particularity of this festival. And this festival is actually implemented by the Alliance Française in 1953, so it's been around for quite a long time. Yeah. And of course, in the long run, we have other events, and as you know, we have the French May that's coming up every year. Every year.
My mentees are crazy about it.
Yeah, it's a great event. Yeah.
So what about food? French food is... Are there any big events coming up, or you don't think you need to promote it because it's so popular already?
What do we have? I know that this year we're gonna, on the 16th of October, it's gonna be the bread festival. And so what? I know my bread festival. Yeah, I think it's like a global festival, and so we're gonna promote French bread on the 16th of October, and then of course within the French May next year. And as every year, we have the French Gourmet, which allows you know, people to taste a bit of French cuisine and wine and drinks here in Hong Kong. And then we actually organize now and then, like, events. So for example, in November, I will be organizing an event at Polytechnic University, and there will be a demo, cuisine demo by a French chef for the students. So we're trying to also work on gastronomy a lot because it's a good way of transmitting and sharing our plate culture.
So if the young people in particular, if they are interested in all these scholarship and other opportunities, they can go to your website or what?
Yes,
where can they go?
They can go to our website. We have a Campus France office within the Consulate General, and they can email or phone my colleague who's the head of the Campus France, and he will be happy to answer all the questions. He was actually himself a French alumni. He studied in France for 3 years, so he knows all about the tricks and the process and the administrative process, so he can be of help to anyone.
Is there a deadline for these, especially for the universities, if they want to apply for scholarship? When do they need to do it?
We have deadlines, but there are different deadlines according to each program. So as I said before, I talked about the short-term programs. So generally, the short-term programs would be around like May, June. So then they would have to apply before like February, for example.
Yeah. What about the
usually we leave them about like a month and a half.
Yeah.
Sometimes too, it depends on how late we are in the process or not, but usually we try to give them at least 1.5 months.
I see.
And for the other ones, for example, the main France Excellence Scholarship, they have to apply between February and April. Yeah. And April we start May we start the oral exam, because after they apply, we have to receive them and have an interview, and after we give the answer around like end of May, June, so that they can start planning their trip to the state.
And they don't need to speak French.
No. As I said before, it's really something that scares people off, but it's actually not. No. They can enjoy one of the 1,700 plus programs taught in English. They can get around in France easily. Of course, as I said before, it's important to learn a few words and get used to it. And as I said, it's also a great opportunity for them economically and professionally as well.
Yes, I think it's something that many people may not know, that it's so much more economical to study in France rather than in the US or in the UK, because they're very expensive unless you get a full scholarship.
It's very affordable to study in France. So go for it.
Go for it. But then if you have so many applications and you have so few scholarships, many would be disappointed.
You have to try your luck. And again, like if you don't get the scholarship, you still can get around very easily. And you have, as I told you, you have the medical care that's taken care of. You get very cheap accommodation with what we call the Crous in France for students, so free museums, discounts on train tickets, a lot of opportunities.
So that means even if they don't get a scholarship to go, they pay their own way. It's not that expensive anyway. And then you get all the other benefits.
Yeah, of course, it's more comfortable for them to get a scholarship, but even if they don't, it's still way less compared to other countries.
It's not that expensive, and once you register as a student, as you said, you get all the other things, which I don't think you get in other countries. Yeah. So so if they need any information, they can contact you or contact the consulate. And maybe after this, you may be inundated with applications and calls.
Probably, but that would be a great news. So
yeah, and if you have so many, then you go to Paris and say, "Hey, the Hong Kong people want to come. We want more." So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Emily. It was great.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.